There is a quiet feeling many people carry. It doesn't always have a clear name. It isn't panic. It isn't sadness. It feels like life is moving forward while your direction stays still. You wake up, you function, you do what needs to be done. But underneath it all, something feels unfinished. You may feel like you should know by now where you're going, what you're becoming. And even if no one says it, there is pressure. A quiet pressure that says, clarity should have arrived already. Here is something important to understand. This feeling is not a personal failure. Uncertainty is one of the most common human experiences. It often appears when life becomes more complex than the stories we were given. For a long time, life followed simple paths. You learned a role. You stayed in it. You repeated it. The world rewarded predictability, and certainty made sense. But that world no longer exists. Today, there are more possible lives. Careers, places, identities, ways of living. The human mind did not evolve to choose between endless options. When everything is possible, direction becomes fragile. So the mind hesitates, not because it is broken, but because it fears regret. It fears locking the wrong door. Your brain's job is not happiness. It is safety. Certainty feels safe. Uncertainty feels dangerous. So when the future is unclear, the body reacts. That's why uncertainty feels heavy, even when nothing is wrong. There are two kinds of uncertainty. External uncertainty, the world changing around you. And internal uncertainty, you changing inside. External uncertainty is noise. Internal uncertainty is transformation. When identity is shifting, choices feel harder. Because identity is a container, it tells you what fits. When the old container breaks, nothing feels stable yet. Now add comparison. You compare your inner confusion to someone else's outer certainty. But you don't see their doubts. You see their surface. So your mind concludes, everyone knows except me. That conclusion feels real, but it isn't accurate. Modern life is what psychologists call a changing environment. Rules change. Feedback is delayed. Patterns are unclear. Old advice doesn't always work here. Clarity is often not a starting point. It is a result. Most clarity appears after motion, not before it. Not big motion, small motion. A conversation, a project, a season of focus. Instead of choosing for life, choose for a season. 6 months, maybe 12. This lowers the stakes and lowers anxiety. You are not trapped. You are experimenting. Most people wait for perfect direction. But perfection creates paralysis. A better goal is good enough direction. Something that moves you forward. Something that teaches you. Most uncertainty grows because the mind holds too much. Ideas, options, worries, plans. Working memory is small. It gets overwhelmed. That's why clarity often comes from externalizing thought. Write things down, not to solve everything, but to create space, to let the mind breathe. Many people feel uncertain because they are paying attention. They are awake in their lives. An awakening is uncomfortable at first. You don't need to force certainty. You don't need to rush clarity. Uncertainty is often a bridge, not a dead end. If you repair stability, allow meaning, and keep growing. The fog lifts slowly, but it does lift. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are in a transition that many people never learn to name. And naming it is the first step toward calm.